So hello everyone again. I'm Tutor speaking from Joigny, Burgundy in France. And unfortunately there's no sunlight, only gray clouds here outside. But I'm happy to see your faces again. Some people who are here without the camera wants to turn them on. So super nice. And I will be your facilitator tonight, which means if you have any technical issue, question, whatever, you can ask me in the chat. I will try to look for it. On the technical side, Jean, when you're writing, I hear you. So maybe when you're not speaking, it's nice if you want to, everyone cuts off their microphone, and then you can open it when you want to speak. There will be, in this webinar, there will be mostly Peter and Tuulia speaking most of the time. And there will be also interactive moments where I will invite you to write down in the chat, open your mic, ask some questions, share yourself. You're very welcome to do that. Also, this webinar will be recorded. We will put it on the YouTube channel of Honesty Europe, like every other webinar. And it usually records in a way that it shows only the speakers. So even if you don't want your face to be seen on the recording, you can just close off the video when you want to speak if you don't want that to be seen. Otherwise, it's nice if you want to keep it. And we'll try to end it at 7. Usually we have it quite on time. Yes, if you have any other question, you're welcome to ask them in the chat directly for technicals. And I will share a bit more about today's webinar. Tuulia and I are doing webinars almost every month. So it's part of an ongoing series. This is the second one of this year. And yeah, we like to come up with new topics and introduce a bit of different sides of the practices around radical honesty. And today we also have Peter, who comes here to also introduce his practice with circling and surrendered leadership. So I'd just like to give the floor to you. Maybe Peter, you can start with introducing yourself, and would be nice to know who you are and also what is your connection, what does it mean for you, presence and connection, which is today's topic.
Hi guys, I'm Peter. I live in Denmark, and the last 10 years of my life has been very much about exploring presence and connection, mostly through the practices of circling and surrendered leadership, but I have a background in Tai Chi that is also very much with me in this. And well, I just want to tell you why I'm here, because the main reason I'm here is that Tuulia and Pete led a workshop in my house in December that I participated in. And I was like, wow, this is surprisingly tricky for me. It's like, it's known, but it's also unknown. And I had this, like, I've led so many workshops where people have told me that they don't quite know the rules and it's like tricky to know how to participate. And it was really lovely to be in that situation myself for a change. And I found that there's so much overlap between what we do that it would be really cool to do something together, and also so much difference between what we do that I imagine that it will be quite exciting to explore. Yeah, so that's why I'm here right now, and why I'm doing this call. Is that enough?
Yes, thank you very much. I'm excited. You want to go on, Tuulia?
Yeah, so I'm Tuulia. I'm from Finland. I'm here in the middle of the woods right now with banks of snow still. And well, my story is that presence wasn't a thing in my radar for the first part of my life. was just more just going, marching along, performing, doing my thing, checking out that everybody is doing well, kind of a classical people pleaser. And then at some point before I turned 40, it's like, oh, hang on a second. Who am I? How I want to spend my life, I'm kind of halfway. And then exploring different things, started to study to become a therapist and run across radical honesty and some other practices. And this was a practice that is really sticking with me since 12 years. And why I like it, why I found connection and presence important is I think that when I allow myself to be who I am with the pretty sides and the less pretty sides, the ugly, shameful, uncomfortable sides, then I fully show myself to others. And they can choose to like me or not like me as I am, but I don't need to be hiding. I don't need to be measuring how I show up. What do I say or don't say? And then we can create a connection from that place. I am who I am, and you are invited to be who you are. And then we can see what happens in that connection of being real and being in the here and now. And the word presence, I have come to realize, I just told Peter and Tutur that actually the work with Honesty Europe is a lot about presence. So it's even more about presence than honesty, actually. Because when I'm just here and allowing everything to emerge that happens in me and allowing everything to happen between us, that's like already a lot. And that's like the main thing. And that's about being honest, actually. I'm just showing up. I'm open to what is happening in me, what is happening between us. And I found that beautiful and important in life, that I don't need to rush anywhere. I can just be here and explore what happens in my body, what happens in my mind, what happens in my emotions.
Thank you.
Could I ask a question?
There will be a space for question later,
Okay.
Jonas, so maybe that you could be a time for you when it's, yeah. And yeah, thank you, Tuulia, for introducing yourself with Peter. I put in the chat right now that also in the continuation of this webinar, if you wish to use the chat, you can also share your name, where you're attending from, and also similar to Peter and Tuulia, how do you connect with the word presence and connection? What do they mean to you? And we're going to move on to a little demonstration because we have like now this synergy with Tuulia and Peter, who are here with different background, different practices. And I asked them before when we were preparing this webinar to do some kind of a demonstration, something like what does it look like when you use your methods and of circling and radical honesty at the same time. So Peter and Tuulia, would you be up to showing us like in a few minutes how you do that? What does it look like? And at the same time, I will also ask you something else, the people in the chat, if you feel inspired to do so. There's two questions which are like, what do you see Tuulia and Peter doing? And is there something interesting or inspiring happening for you? So kind of like sharing yourself at the same time when you're observing what they do. Ready, Peter and Tuulia?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I give you the floor.
I notice my hands touching my face. And I notice my butt against the seat, and I notice kind of a smile coming to my face when I look at you, Peter.
I think what's most present for me is the experience of being watched by a lot of people and wanting to do well. It's a very sort of known place of like, oh, I want all of these people to like me. And it's a bit anxiety inducing to not be in dialogue. I really wanted to hear what Johannes had to say before, just to have the two-way Yeah, so there's something with being watched. And when I'm more with you, Tuulia, I'm a bit more of a blankness. Like, I think I like wanting to know where you are right now. What's this like for you?
Yeah, I notice I'm just ongoingly smiling somehow. I would say happy and present and curious. And I appreciate you for saying that there's some like, I don't remember, did you use the word nervousness and being watched? And I often feel uncomfortable in this kind of situations. And at the moment, I'm actually somehow enjoying it. And I found it weird. Notice I'm touching my face. Yeah. And a bit embarrassing to admit that I'm enjoying being in front of people and talking about me.
I chest a lot. I think that's like, there's like anxiety or not being able to breathe fully right now. Wanting to slow down a bit, I think.
Mm.
Yeah, I noticed that it's quite nice for me when I actually look around at all the faces. I feel more joy, so curiosity towards all of you, actually. And there's some kind of like wanting to. I feel a bit stuck in this format of of demoing with you, Tuulia, and not being able to yeah, say hi to everyone.
Well, I imagine you are allowed to say hi to everyone. And I hear you that it's a bit weird. And I see the lights behind you. I enjoy seeing them. And I remember being in that room myself. That's, yeah, I feel joyful about that. And imagining being there again as well. And now I'm wondering if Tutur wants to us to shut up and cut this off and doesn't find a like a nice way to do it.
Thank you. Yeah, I really appreciate watching you and hearing you doing this little demonstration. I feel very light right now. And also, I see there's lots of people writing in the chat. I like that too. And maybe to take like a bit of a big picture on what happened. How would you describe, Peter and Tuulia, your way of being present in this moment, in this demonstration? What would you say about that? Is there something you wish to share?
I think my commitment in this practice is to really staying with what is. So what am I experiencing, and can I trust that and bring it into connection? And often that requires a bit of a slowing down and like, what am I really experiencing now? And there's typically layers of it. And I think my experience right now is like getting through a couple of them, but there's plenty more to explore there. So there's always a depth in what's actually happening in the moment. Yeah, but trusting what is happening is really central for me.
What about you, Tuulia?
For me, it starts with noticing sensations in my body. So noticing those and kind of somehow relaxing into that, noticing. And then kind of noticing what emotional states I have when I was looking at Peter, and allowing kind of to verbalize the feeling joyful and curious. Yeah, and yeah, enjoying hearing you, Peter, and noticing that it's easier for me to kind of share and be in the contact, knowing your room, your house, knowing you somewhat. So I had also thoughts that if I was doing this with someone I don't know at all, most likely I would be a bit more reserved.
Thank you. I'm really also glad to see so many people sharing their own experience in the chat, and I wonder if there's one or two people who would like to share with us with opening the mic and just sharing with us how it was for you to watch it, or what is your experience right now. And if you wish to, you can just open your mic, share it with us.
Hello,
Yes.
I'm Scott. Hello, Tuulia. Hello, humans.
Hello.
I actually have quite a bit of experience with radical honesty, but in noticing this demo, there's a thought that came to my mind that I actually just dropped it in the chat, but I'm practically going to read it, which is I noticed that the demo, in doing it, like everything slows down. And my question is radical honesty, do you think of it as always like that, or is there radical honesty that's at normal conversation speed or even faster? Or is radical honesty a practice that's meant to be kind of intentionally meditative and not for normal conversation?
Nice. Scott, I have a proposal for you that we will live it right now as like your own experience of things going slow. And we see in the question and answer space if like we have an answer for you. Is that good?
Got it.
Good.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah. So we'll just leave it as a noticing.
Cool.
That's what I noticed. Yeah. Thank you.
There's somebody else who wants to share.
I'd like to share. First, I'd like to thank Peter and Tuulia for their sharing and noticing and speaking their experience. And I felt really excited by listening to their words and seeing their expression, and it felt so alive, and that really excited me. There's like my body came to life watching it, and I felt a wave of gratitude by being present in my body and being present watching you two share this.
Thank you very much. I'd like to propose a little experiment for all of us. And I invite all of you who want to close your eyes and start tuning in your body a little bit. And just start noticing your body. What are your different bodily sensations? Maybe some of you sit on a chair. See if you can notice the sensations around your butt. Do you notice the sensation around your feet? Around your neck? Your face? And just around your body in general. See what you can notice in your body. and think about how it is to be yourself right now. And when you're ready, I invite you to open your eyes again and look at the screen of your computer and see the people. You can look at them on your screen. And while you're looking at the people, notice how it feels to do so. And I would like to open the floor for maybe 2 or 3 people just to share with us, how does it feel to be themselves right now, to look at the people or whatever you're experiencing.
One
right
thing
now,
I notice
oh
is
yeah, go on.
just how different it is to look at the different pictures of people. That like each of you seems to have a very unique impact on me. Yeah, I won't go into describing all the nuances of it, but just that there are nuances. I find that quite, well, right now I find it quite beautiful actually. Seeing that there's so many nuances of relating or connection here.
I think for me, the big difference is that when I'm eyes closed, it's really this world here, my sensations and my thoughts mainly. I notice some thoughts, I let them go. I notice different sensations, especially my hands and my legs. And then opening my eyes, it was just like, oh, there's this whole world out there and all these different colors and faces and so much more stimuli and input. And I didn't all of a sudden notice my body anymore so much because I was just like with this visual input, which is pleasant and just very different.
Thank you. Anyone else wants to share?
I notice when I close my eyes, I immediately become aware of my skin all over my body and just the physical coldness of air and light. There's no breeze here, but just the atmosphere. And then when I open my eyes again, I retain that a little bit, but the volume goes down as I start focusing outside at other people at the screen.
Thank you. I feel myself very slow, so I'm relaxed right now after hearing you somehow. I'd like to hear a bit more from you, Tuulia and Peter. Like right now we heard a lot of different experiences and we've seen like this thing of like going into the self, noticing a lot and talking from experience, trusting. I would like to ask you the question like, what are the 3 things or the most important things you judge that we could do in everyday life to build more presence and connection? And I leave it to you to decide who can start answering that.
Maybe we can go a bit back and forth.
Yeah.
the first thing that comes up for me, and it's maybe an answer to your question, Scott, is like slowing down seems to be really important. It's like if I'm in a sort of focused, active mind space, it's very hard for me to notice all the stuff that's actually going on for me. It does seem to require a slowing down, not necessarily a talking slower, but like an inner slowing down that opens for, I would call it a deeper listening. And well, at least for me, it seems to require that. I do think we can listen without having to sort of force ourselves to slow down. It's like, can I drop a bit of my sort of everyday activity presence? That seems to help me to become more sensitive to towards what is around me.
I would say something similar and from a little bit different point of view. So for me, it's around noticing, and slowing down can help there, or just focus. So I can notice the sensations in my body. That kind of immediately, at least for me, brings me more into the present moment, in the presence. Whatever there is in my body, I don't need to evaluate if it's good or bad, or just notice my butt on the seat, my hands slightly sweaty. And then, yeah, noticing other things. So I notice whatever visual there is. And then I notice whatever thoughts I have, and just kind of notice them as thought, not as the truth or the reality. It's like I had a flashlight, like sensations outside and then inside in my head, and just keep noticing all of that as what is, rather than as interpreting it too much. And now I throw the ball back to you, Peter.
Yeah, well, what's in me right now is just, or it was after this exercise we just did, and it was like, how much can I welcome myself? So you can all check that right now. Like, do you have a sense of really welcoming yourself in your experience this moment? Like, am I allowing myself to really be with the fullness of my experience, which is usually highly complex? Like, there's a bit of anxiety, there's some kind of joy that's also present, and there's all the small wants or needs of like, I'm still wanting all of you to like me. That's there in the background. And so like, can I welcome all of these parts that are there, and trust that they're there for a reason, rather than sort of prioritizing one, which for me would usually be like the professional, cool, skilled, competent Peter that I want to show up as, but like there's lots of other things going on. And can I trust that as well?
Yeah, I like what you said, and from there I would continue that, also allowing and noticing the shifts within me. So how my emotional states do shift, how my sensations shift, how like a lot in me, just like allowing things to come and go, not kind of blocking or stopping, or noticing if I want to block or stop something or not experience something. And then notice the discomfort maybe of having an experience or a thought or a sensation or emotion that I don't particularly like. But that kind of, yeah, I am a very dynamic being. We all are, and just kind of acknowledging that. And also, for me, there's a lot of, what's the word? I really like it that I know, even with those very intense emotions or intense thoughts, they do just come and go. It's not a big deal. So then I'm learning to take myself a bit more lightly, a bit more, less serious. Yeah, it's just a sensation in my body. It's just an emotion. It does come and go. It's just a thought.
Yeah, and
Now I see you smiling.
yeah, I like what you're saying. And it's like a paradox, because I don't want to take it too seriously, and I want to take it deeply seriously. That I'm having these experiences, and that there's an impact on me from the world and from being with you guys right now. So I don't want to throw that away. I actually want to experience it more. And yeah, I was sitting with that point of like allowing impact more as you were speaking. And just something that's been really important in my life is starting to notice all the times I actually feel a bit hurt. Because I used to live in a way where I would just overwrite all of that because I can take care of myself. And these days I'm more like, no, it actually hurts when people speak to me in particular ways, and I don't want that in my life. Of course, I can't always change it, but I can notice that it's happening and that there's actually impact in me. And rather than sort of packing that down in my body and keeping it to myself, I can be with it, sometimes even say it out loud. And often that impact is really beautiful. It's like noticing that someone else is seen to be sad while they're speaking, and then it's like, oh, it just seems like you're sad. Is that true? And then suddenly there's an opening for a completely different kind of meeting than what was there before.
Thank you very much for sharing that with us. Like I think there was much being said really on like the slowing down. I think after this, what we went through, it was like so nice to also hear you saying that slowing down is a good way of actually being more present, also allowing for more noticing what's happening here and now, and also giving space to all of the different parts, and at the same time, like the emotions that come and go, and letting them be, acknowledging them, accepting them. I think also a lot of what you both said was a lot about also accepting what the experience is and not trying to like deny something, but instead expressing it or sharing it or letting it be. And I think right now we could already open the space for some questions and some more interactions.
One important addition to tour
Yes.
that I was actually thinking when I heard the word hurt. For me, very important point is owning my hurt / anger. For me is often like upset. So I didn't like that, and just I do sometimes feel angry, and it's not a big deal. It's actually healthy. It's normal. It's setting boundaries. It's kind of communicating that I didn't like something, and it's a sensation in my body. Now I already feel my face being warm. So kind of allowing the anger, acknowledging it, and then having a healthy way of expressing it, which is not about blame and shame, but just full ownership and staying in connection. And that's a big part of my practice. Whatever I share, that I choose to stay in connection and I choose to own it, my experience, my emotion, my impact in me, because nobody can make me feel in a certain way. I'm the creator of everything here, and I communicate in order to get over it and move on and stay in connection.
Yes. And I imagine it also builds a lot more connection to own the things for me and not put it on the other person. When people do that, usually I'm a bit like, want to distance myself somehow.
Maybe the next webinar is about healthy expression of anger. I'm now thinking.
Aha. Good. Are there some questions that you would like to ask? I think Johannes, you had a question. You feel free to ask it right now, or anyone else. Just open your mic and go for it.
Well, I don't know if my question, this Johannes, was already answered by how you did the exercise, because it was the question about how does presence equal honesty? Because I think someone can also, I mean, it depends how you define presence, I guess. If you're just an audience, then you might not be very present. I mean, if you're, yeah. So I was wondering how you would say being present equals honesty. If you could put it a bit more into words for me to grasp the idea. Thank you.
I would say that one way to look at it is that there's 3 levels of honesty. One is that I'm honest about the past, so my hurts, my upsets, my unfinished stuff, the secrets I'm keeping, whatever I didn't deal with someone and is still alive in me. And then there's the honesty about the here and now. What is my current experience, how I'm feeling, what do I notice, what thoughts I have ongoingly. And whether I share it out loud or not, I'm kind of acknowledging it to myself. And sometimes it's important to share and sometimes it's not. It just kind of comes and goes. And then the 3rd level for me would be like the honesty about my desires, my wishes, the future I want to create. So kind of looking forward, kind of honesty about what I'm truly about in this world, what I want to contribute towards, which is kind of a bit grand language, but that's I like it. And I see it also like dealing with the first step, which is, or the first part, which is honesty about the past and clearing it and expressing whenever expression is needed, then there is more space in the here for the here and now and for the owning the desires, the wishes, and looking towards the future. So that's how I see it.
Thank you.
Thank you for this question. Maria, you want to go?
Yes, please. I have a question about how can one be present on like a stage and when you have to like perform a task or like do a presentation, because now we're talking about the sensations and how you feel and what's happening in the body, but when you're there for a certain thing to do, how can you be present and connect to the audience without really going off topic?
What do you think, Peter or Tuulia?
I think for me, when I am on stage, I've been teaching for the last couple of weeks. There's such a big difference between sort of performing on stage, like I'm pretending to be better than I am in some way. And then I would call it like just showing up. It's like, yeah, I'm here. I'm a human like you, and I'm pretty good at this stuff that we're going to work with. And I'm definitely not perfect at it. And I want to be treated as a human also when I am on stage. I don't know what stages you're talking about specifically. Of course, in some cases, you are maybe meant to perform as a superhuman of some kind. But in most of the stages that I get on, it's more like, no, I want to bring my whole self into the space. So that would be the presencing process for me. Yeah, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I think you're opening, yes, and setting a sort of a standard for how you want to be treated and how you treat yourself. And therefore, everything else that follows is already like prepared. It sounds like.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like, I don't use the word honesty so much because I mostly connected to what Tuulia called honesty in the past or about the past. And most of my work is more, I would talk about truth. Like, can I show up truthfully in this moment? And it's more like, what's it actually like for me to be here? And then trusting that, well, it's actually good for others to see where I am and where I'm coming from. Even if it's a professional setting, it's probably better that people know that I'm coming into this presentation and I'm tired and worn, and that's where I am. And I'm still going to be here with you and do my best to communicate what it is that you paid me for. But That's where I am.
Yeah.
Because it will be felt no matter what. It's like I deeply believe that everything registers. Like, so in some way we are connected, and that's where the connection and presence becomes a bit weird to talk about, because we are present and we are connected already. And the only question is, like, can we make that conscious?
Yeah.
And when it's made conscious, it seems to be a relief for, at least for me, and it seems for most people. I was like, oh, yeah, you're angry with me. Oh, yeah, I kind of knew that. And now it makes sense that I'm feeling a bit contracted. I was like, oh, that presenter doesn't seem to really be feeling good. And when they say it, it's like, oh, they're not feeling very well. That's really nice to know.
Yeah, it's congruent.
Exactly.
Yeah. And you asked me before what kind of stage do I have in mind, but it already happened when I was sharing before, because I was answering the question and I was trying to do a good job, and I was also wanting to be like to take up more space and being vulnerable, but by doing it like a performance, I wasn't really vulnerable. So after I ended it, I felt like I wasn't present at all. Yeah, and now I'm conscious of taking too much time.
I like your sharing, Maria. And adding to what Peter said, my like straightforward words would be that people do smell bullshit. So if there's something that is there and I'm not saying it, they do smell it. They do somehow notice there's something off. And when I'm listening to someone who just says, oh, I feel nervous, I'm like, I just relax. Or if I allow myself to say, yeah, I have sweaty hands, I'm not quite sure what to do here or what to say, just kind of just relaxes me into being there. And I think it's a pity that there's so many circles where somehow that's sign of weakness rather than sign of strength and realness.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
I really
Other side. Sorry.
I really love this talk we're having right now, because also Maria, you said like stage in mind somehow, and the first thought I had, like, these stages are so much our own creation most of the time, because there's really like often I think I'm just putting myself there, or I'm building these expectations, or this fear that I'm off topic, or this fear that I will be rejected if I don't fit expectations of doing things properly. And I find it so somehow funny and also saddening inside that there's also some kind of like, even in this context where, for instance, I'm facilitating a webinar and sometimes I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe is it good I say like welcome to everyone or thank you, blah, blah, blah. And sometimes maybe I'm also, I think sometimes like, oh yeah, do I try to fit the role or is it super genuine? And sometimes for me it's also not so clear what is really happening. I'm trying to stay conscious of that. But I just realized like it's really a big question for me how much I create these roles for myself, and I try to match the expectation that I created, but nobody really asks them, or and even when it's about also the expectation of being vulnerable, and yeah, it's kind of ironic in the end.
Thank you. Very relatable.
Anybody wants to open another topic or has another question?
Well, Scott you had the question about the speed, and I would like to say a few words about that. So my natural speed is actually quite fast, and depending who is facilitating, I judge drag honesty is more of a speedy practice. And I noticed I was slowing down when Peter was slowing down, so I think it was something that happened here in the connection. And my natural way of being in the world is quite like fast. Sometimes it can be all sorts of nervousness or my impatience to get shit done. So I think there is some difference there. And I do think that sometimes it's really important to slow down, pause, notice the body, and then that can more facilitate and allow these sensations to come and go, and actually really notice what's going on when things are somehow tricky, especially. That's how I see this speed thing.
Thank you.
I
I
see
would say
there's
for me, if there's any, as soon as I run into a problem or something I perceive as a problem, slowing down is a really good idea. Because if I speed up when I run into a problem or a conflict, then usually it doesn't go very well for me. Like, typically need to take some of the charge out of the situation and, okay, what's actually happening? Go back to my body. And then usually there's better communication coming from there. We probably can all recognize that from being triggered, and then it's like everything speeds up and becomes more charged and more blamey. And then sometimes it's like we can, oh, but if I take out a little bit of the charge and you take out a little bit of the charge, then suddenly we start meeting again. And it's like, oh, okay, maybe we're not in a conflict anymore. Maybe it's more like, yeah, we're seeing each other.
and I think
Yeah, the only time. Sorry. Go ahead.
I just want to say, I agree. I love that. Thank you. Especially when, conflict or things ride, to slow down is something I definitely do as well. I also notice myself when I do that, or sometimes when I'm on calls like this, in certain situations, I kind of go into a Zen monk performance. And when I notice myself doing that, I feel self-conscious. I'm like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I acting so pious? And I imagine I imagine I desire to be, and I love your word truthful more than honesty. I long to be more truthful, and like the way a child is, just a little rambunctious, a little, just present and connected and aware of everything, touching, smelling, everything, but in a way that's more up energy. I have a longing for that, I notice. And I feel my heart when I say that. It's deeply touching. Yeah. I notice. Yeah, I'm just noticing my sensations and reactions right now and how dear that is to me.
Life for me. It's like to move into life. That's like,
Yeah, thank you. I want to move into life, not away from it. Doesn't have to be speed, but I want to move like up energy and joy in my truthfulness. Not always, but thank you all for everything you said about this subject.
I appreciate you for showing yourself in this way, Scott. I like witnessing that.
Me too.
Thank you for saying that. I enjoy myself showing myself like this.
I was thinking that the only time where slowing it down might not work, in my experience, is when people slow down and they get very heady. So they actually don't relax into the body, into the experience, but they just stay in the thought level. And then sometimes I coach people to actually just express something and then notice in the body. And sometimes that can start to move to real noticing rather than they think they're slowing down, but actually they're just focusing here. So that's the only time where I would actually want some speed, so something can move and shift and a different kind of awareness can come up.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm also very moved by this conversation, and I want to slow down myself. I wish we could extend a bit this webinar and share so much more. And I was just also checking the time, and I think I want to go slowly or not so slowly, to the end of it. There was a question in the chat at some point from Suv, and Suv was asking, what are the small ways to practice honesty and presence in everyday life? And I think we've covered really many of them. I think we've been saying slowing down so many times in this call. I think if I were to keep one, this would be the only one. And we've been talking also a lot about trusting, noticing the experience, staying with what is alive, voicing out things, allowing ourselves, staying with the discomfort, letting the emotion pass and go. I think there were many things we've also been experiencing and sharing with each other. So to close a bit this webinar, first I'd like to say many thanks to you, Peter and Tuulia, for what you shared with us. And I feel so light now and restful, is that the word? Like wanting to be with myself, observe myself more, and I'm really happy also for our connection and like the whole work we did for preparing it. And I'm really glad we organized this together. And I would just like to give the floor once more to you to share a bit with the whole group, like what's beyond this webinar. So how can people try it out, experience it, be supported with you in being present and connected? Would you like to say a word about like how people can reach out to you, what you're offering, and maybe some specifics about the event that you're creating, the two of you?
Yeah, I think it goes directly. I saw, Lisa, your comment would be nice to have a whole weekend with this. Well, there is a chance for that. So we have the Honesty and Circling retreat over Easter in April. So that's a great space where we explore these two practices and be very curious what all shows up when we approach things from different angles with different formats, but more so with different ways of sharing, being, connecting, also not connecting when that is what is happening there, and allowing that experience too. So that's something cool that me and Peter and Pete are offering. And then there's the other thing, which is the Honesty Gathering, our annual big event where there's several workshops at the same time. It's by a lake near Berlin. It's in September. So Peter is first time joining us and offering sessions there. So you can try out different honesty practices, also circling practices, and a lot more. So I think Tutur will post the links, and also you'll get a follow-up letter. So you'll get the links there. So there's two great opportunities at least to see kind of this combined magic.
Nice.
What else would be right to say about that, Peter? I want to excite everyone. I have a motivation.
Well, I think for me, it's like there's something very interesting for me in the combination of these practices. Because as I started saying, they're quite similar, but there's also, I noticed it even in this call, that we seem to come at the same thing from slightly different angles. And I imagine that, like on this retreat that we're doing, we will also get to challenge each other in different ways on how we lead and how we show up in this. That's a quite rare situation for me, to have that sort of, I don't know what to call it, discussion with other leaders live with participants. So that feels really exciting for me. And I imagine it will be quite special, actually. Yeah.
Great. I hope everyone is excited. Okay, I think that's about the end. Just a quick word about the webinars in general. There will be more webinars in the future organized by Honesty Europe. I will be facilitating some of them. And I think I will write to you in the follow-up email what are the dates for the next one. It's going to be in May, maybe like second week of May. I think, Tuulia, we have to look it up together. And let's see what is going to be the topic. I think you had a topic proposal before. I forgot it already, but we'll talk about that. And you will hear about that. So thank you very much, everyone, for attending. Stay in touch with us. I also shared you all the links in the chat. There's a Facebook group you can join. And yeah, I hope you stay present to yourself, connected to the others tonight, and to see you very soon. Thank you.